If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Okay student, welcome you all to this new lecture in machine series. So today again we will be solving 5 questions starting from question number 41 to 45. Okay, then let's try to solve these questions. Okay, if you come to question number 41, for a single phase 2 winding transformer, the supply frequency and the voltage are both increased by 10%. The percentage change in ED current loss and hysteresis losses respectively are. So it is a transformer. We are doing of DC motor, but unfortunately our transformer is there, so let's do it. So you know hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. So ED is E double dy. So how to remember eddy current loss and hysteresis loss? Formulas are quite similar. So your eddy current loss is directly proportional to, because it was double D, so I used to remember at phi square f square, because it is double D, so square will be there, but that is your b square actually, not phi, that is b square f square. Okay, and your hysteresis loss was directly proportional to b to the power 1.6 f. So you remember these two. Rest of the formulas are there, constant are there, these are the constant terms, but mostly it is directly proportional to, and it is square. Why? Because it is double D, that's why square. Now it is a transformer. So in transformer your induced EMF is directly proportional to phi into f, that is 4.44 phi f, that formula induced EMF. So your phi is directly proportional to E by f, which means phi is directly proportional to V by f. So that you know in transformer. So it is flux is directly proportional to by V by f. Okay. So your flux, that means B, flux density, that is B, that will also be proportional by V by f. So instead of that you can put it V by f and you can simplify it. So first is hysteresis loss. So let me do for hysteresis loss. So instead of B, if I do it V by f, right? So it is V by f to the power 1.6 into f. That means your hysteresis loss is directly proportional to V to the power 1.6 divided by f to the power 0.6. Similarly, your ED current loss is proportional to B. Instead of B square, if you put V by f square into f square, that means ED is directly proportional to V square. So these are the formulas for me, so I will use these two. So therefore hysteresis loss 1 by hysteresis loss 2 is equal to V1 by V2 to the power 1.6, because it is directly proportional to V. You can see it is directly proportional to your V and inversely with f, and here it is directly proportional with your V. So direct is 1 to 1 2 and inversely with f, so f2 f1 to the power 0.6, and ED is equal to V1 by V2 whole square, that is ED1 by ED. So now you apply, your voltage and current both are increased by 10%. So if it is 100, now it is 110, and if F1 is 100, this is now 110. So here your EH2 will be equal to 1.1 of EH1, that means 10% increase. So hysteresis loss will increase by 10%, and similarly here if you apply in B, instead of V1 V2, 100 by 110 whole square. So if you do your ED2 will be equal to 1.21 ED1. That means if there is a 21% increase in the ED current loss. So these two are the answer, 10% and 21%. That is your option A. Next, if you come to 42, a separately excited 300 volt DC shunt motor under no load runs as 900, drawing armature current of 2 ampere. At no load they have given current. Armature resistance is also given. So you don't take back EMF directly 300, you have to subtract that loss. And leakage inductance of this much, there is no use of leakage inductance in DC motor. When loaded, the armature current is 15 ampere, the speed in RPM is okay. So you can calculate the EB1. EB1 is 300 minus 2 ampere into armature resistance is 0.5, that is 299. Now what will be EB2? Now the motor is drawing 15 ampere current. So you can calculate, once you know these things, you can easily calculate your speed, 292.5, because you know your EB1 by EB2 is equal to phi1 by phi2 into N1 by N2. So phi1 phi2, because it is separately excited, so it is constant, so no need of this one. You can directly write EB1 is 299, EB2 is 292.5 is equal to N1. What is speed? No load was speed 900. You have to find this one speed. So this will be equal to 900 into this divided by this, it will be 880.43 rpm. So that is your answer. Now if you come to 43, the no load speed of 230 volt separately excited DC motor is 1400 rpm. The armature resistance drop and the brass drops are neglected. Now if you neglect this drop, armature resistance drop and brass drop, then the back EMF is directly 230 volt. Then there is nothing in between back EMF and volt. What we apply 230, from that we subtract that armature resistance drop, then we get the back EMF. But because you are neglecting these two, so this supply voltage will be your back EMF. So that means always your supply voltage will say, that means every time its back EMF will be same 230 only, because it will be equal to 230 volt. Now they are keeping field also constant. The torque of the motor in Newton meter for an armature current this. Now there will be no speed change. Why? Because field is also constant and your back EMF is also 230 volt, because your EB is equal to V minus IARA. So you are neglecting this entire thing. So every time your EB1 is also 230, EB2 is also 230. So your speeds will be also 230, N1 will be 230, N1 will be 1400, N2 should be also 1400. Now because they have given now armature current is 8 ampere and your speed, you know also speed also. So you know your power 230 into 8, that is EB into IA, torque into omega, speed you know, this into 2 pi divided by 60 in radian per second into torque. So from here you can calculate your torque, that is equal to 12.55 Newton meter. So that is your answer. So you have to be careful in the exam. If they are neglecting this one, then your back EMF becomes every time supply voltage. So in this case, if you are not changing supply voltage, so your back EMF will remain changed, and somehow if you have kept your field also constant, so this motor will be a constant speed motor. Every time it will be 400 ampere only for this problem. So in question number 44, a separately excited DC generator has an armature resistance of this negligible armature inductance, the rated field current and rated rotor speed. Its open circuit voltage is 200. When the generator is operated at half the rated speed with half the field current, an uncharged 1000 microfarad capacitor is suddenly connected across the armature terminal. Assuming the speed remains unchanged during the transient, at what time after the capacitor is connected with the voltage across it will reach 25 volt. Now you see what is the come to capacitor part later on. First you see, if you do this one, what will be its supply voltage, output voltage. Normally it is giving 200 volt. Its terminal voltage is 200 volt of this generator. But if you operate at half the rated speed with half the field current, then how much voltage you will get it. So I am considering here EB1 is approximately equal to V1, because they have not given you armature current. But I know EB1 by EB2 is equal to, from here you can get what will be the output voltage. That is N1 phi1 by N2 phi2. You have reduced this also half, this also half. So what will be your speed? Here it is 200. If open circuit voltage was 200, and it is 0.5 of N1 because it is half, and field current is also half. So if it is a phi1, then it is 0.551. So this one will be equal to 50 volt. That means the generator output voltage you can consider terminal voltage as 50 volt. I have neglected that armature drop, because armature resistance is also 0.1 and they have not given you armature current also. We need approximately at what time it will reach to this 25 volt. That's it. So your generator output voltage is of 25. Now you can think of a 25 volt source, 50 volt source which is connected to a capacitor. How the capacitor, it is uncharged, and how it will be reached to 25. So you remember your circuit theory that Guru Mantra was there. Your capacitor voltage was final plus infinity was final plus initial minus final e to the power minus t by tau. So this is the expression for capacitor. So finally, if you keep it as it is, finally what will happen? It will be 50. The capacitor will be fully charged 50. There will be no current. If you keep it for infinite time, final voltage it will reach to 50. 25, they are asking at what time it will be 25. It will not stop. It will not stop at 25. If you keep it on, then it will reach 50. This highest limit is it can go 50. Initially it was 0 voltage. E to the power minus t by tau is RC. R is the armature resistance, that is they have given, and C also they have given. But this output, this is the expression. Now you want when it reaching 25. When your VCT is reaching 25, you can find the time, because as you are increasing your time, capacitor is charging gradually. You want to find at what time it is reaching 25, this time. And the equation of this curve is this one. So when this output is 25, you need to find the input time. So if you solve it, you will find your, I think you can solve it. R is 0.1 and C is equal to 1000 microfarad. So if you put all these things, you will get your time is equal to 69.3 microsecond. That is your option B. Now if you come to 45, a DC motor has the following specification. This is your HP, that is your rated output power. This is always output power. If I say it is a 2 HP motor, that means the output power, rated output power is 2 HP. If everything is rated voltage, rated current, then obviously it will be giving rated output. Rated load, everything you put, you will get output rated. 37.5 230 volt flux per pole, number of conductor, number of parallel path, armature resistance. Armature reactions is negligible. Rotational losses is given 600. Operates at from a 230 volt supply. The motor runs at 1000 rpm. The output torque produced in Newton meter. Okay. Everything is given. You can calculate your back EMF that is produced. That is phi Z and P by 60A. Because speed is also given. So phi is here 0.01. Z is given 666. And they have given at what is the revolution it is doing. 1000 rpm. It is rotating at 1000 rpm. P they have given 4 divided by 60 into parallel path is also they have given 2. If you solve it, you will find this is 222 volt. So once you know this voltage, you know supply voltage also, that is 222 is equal to supply voltage is 230 minus IA into RA they have also given. You can calculate your IA. So if you solve it, your IA will be equal to 29.96 ampere. So once you know IA, once you know your EB, you know speed also, so you can apply EB into IA is equal to torque into speed. From that you can calculate torque, 222 into 29.96. But this is the power developed, this is the mechanical power output, and this is the electrical power that is converted into mechanical power. So or electrical power ultimately that is converted into mechanical power. So from that some mechanical losses are there. If we generally neglect all this loss, this much power is generated mechanically, but in output you are getting this. So this minus that loss, mechanical loss is the rotational loss, minus 600. This was generated mechanical power, out of this rotational loss is deducted, you got the final output. So here there is a twist of this one. You do be careful about these things. So if you solve it, you will get your T is equal to 57.789 Newton meter. So that's why 600 is. This is EB into I is the mechanical power, equivalent mechanical power to your electrical power. You have given how much electrical power. This first portion has been into mechanical power. Generally we take it as an output because we neglect these losses, because here mechanical losses are there. So this is your mechanical power that is converted from electrical to mechanical. From that you deduct this loss, this much you are getting as out. So this is your answer. If you like the video, then press the like button and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.